Center Court, Wimbledon 2026. The most famous lawn in tennis is about to witness something nobody outside one small island nation dared to predict. In one corner stands Iga Świątek, a six-time Grand Slam champion, an Olympic bronze medalist, the defending Wimbledon champion, a woman who has spent years being the standard every other player is measured against. In the other corner stands a 21-year-old from the Philippines who, just 3 years ago, was still grinding through Grand Slam qualifying rounds, unseeded, unheralded, unknown to most of the tennis world. Her name is Eala, and by the time this match ends, she will have done something no Filipino, man or woman, has ever done in the history of the sport. This is not a Cinderella story that ends at midnight. This is a story of a rivalry quietly built over more than a year, of a wildcard who once shocked the tennis world in Miami, of a player who trained on the same clay courts as Rafael Nadal himself, and who now stands one match away from rewriting what her country believed was possible. If you think you know how this story goes, stay with us, because what happens in the next 2 hours and 14 minutes on that grass will leave even the most seasoned tennis commentators speechless. We're about to break down exactly how a player ranked outside the world's elite dismantled a legend on the very court where legends are made, point by point, breakpoint by breakpoint, tier by tier. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why people back home in Manila were screaming in the streets, why Filipino flags filled the stands at the All England Club, and why this single match might just be remembered as the moment women's tennis found its next global superstar. So let's rewind the clock, set the stage, and relive one of the most stunning upsets Wimbledon has seen in years.
To understand why this win mattered so much, you have to understand the road Eala walked just to reach that court. This wasn't her first Wimbledon, but it was the first time she arrived seeded, entering as the tournament's 29th seed, a first for any Filipino player in the sport's open era. Her run to get there was anything but smooth. In the opening round, she dispatched Mexican player Renata Zarazúa in straight sets, a rematch against a former doubles partner who had actually beaten her the year before. Then came the second round, and a genuinely dramatic twist. Her opponent, Australia's Maya Joint, arrived fresh off eliminating tennis royalty herself, Serena Williams, in 3 sets in the Wimbledon return that had captured headlines worldwide. Facing that momentum, Eala dropped the first set. For a moment, it looked like her tournament might end early, but then something shifted. She fought back to win the second set, and in the third, she simply took over, winning it without dropping a single game. It was more than a win. It was payback, a full year in the making, after Joint had broken Eala's heart in a brutal Eastbourne final back in 2025 that ended in a marathon final set tiebreak. Eala later admitted that loss had hit her so hard she couldn't bring herself to watch the highlights for months. Beating Joint wasn't just about advancing to the third round. It was about proving to herself that the growth was real. And that third round draw, it handed her the ultimate test, defending Wimbledon champion Iga Świątek, fresh off her own straight sets win over former world number 1 Karolina Pliskova. On paper, this looked like the end of the road for the rising star. In reality, it was about to become the beginning of everything. What makes this rivalry so fascinating is that it wasn't Eala's first time troubling Swiatek. This was a rematch of a battle already dripping with history. Back in 2025, Eala pulled off a career-defining upset over Swiatek during her breakthrough run to the Miami Open semifinals, only for Swiatek to return the favor with a win in Madrid a month later. Their head-to-head sat level, and this Wimbledon third-round clash on center court was the decider neither player had asked for, but every tennis fan wanted. The first set became an instant classic. Swiatek, dealing with untimely double faults and uncharacteristic unforced errors, found herself locked in an opening set that stretched into a tiebreak for the ages. Eala clawed her way through it, edging Swiatek 11 points to 9 after an epic 1 hour and 25 minutes of tennis just to win a single set. Rather than fold under the weight of that effort, Eala exploded out of the gates in the second set, racing to a commanding 4-games-to-love lead behind fearless baseline hitting and a serve that refused to break down under pressure. Swiatek, ever the champion, didn't go quietly. She clawed back one of the breaks and even saved 2 match points, briefly threatening to steal the momentum right back and extend the drama into a decider. But Eala held her composure in a tense, nerve-shredding final game, and on her third match point, she finally sealed it, 7-6-9, 6-2. The defending champion's title defense was over, and Alex Eala had just delivered the single biggest win of her career on the biggest stage in the sport.
When the final point landed, Eala didn't celebrate like someone who expected this. She dropped to her knees in tears, completely overwhelmed, as center court rose to its feet around her. This is what made the moment resonate far beyond a simple scoreline. It was raw, human, and real. With that win, Eala became the first Filipina in the Open era to reach the fourth round of Wimbledon, continuing a career that has already rewritten the record books for her country. She's the highest-ranked Filipino in WTA history, the first from the Philippines to crack the world's top 30, and now she can add conqueror of a defending Wimbledon champion to a resume that started with years of quiet, unglamorous development at Rafael Nadal's academy in Mallorca, where she trained for 7 years and even shared practice courts with Nadal himself. What's remarkable is how this fits a larger pattern. Świątek seems to bring out Eala's absolute best tennis, and after 2 head-to-head wins now sit in Eala's favor, you have to wonder if this is officially a rivalry the sport didn't know it needed. Back home, this win detonated across Filipino social media and news outlets instantly, with fans and sports journalists alike calling it a moment that could permanently change the trajectory of tennis in a country with no real tradition in the sport. Eala now moves on to face a new opponent in the round of 16, carrying momentum, confidence, and an entire nation's hopes with her. Whatever happens next, one thing is already certain. July 4th, 2026, will be remembered as the day Alex Eala didn't just beat a champion, she announced herself as one. If this story gave you chills the way it gave us chills, make sure you subscribe, because her Wimbledon run is far from over, and you will not want to miss what comes next.